Hey, welcome to Guitar Knobs, the guitars, gear, noise, and nonsense podcast, hosted today by these knobs.
Tony Dudzik, Pick Guardian.
Jared Brandon coming to you from Nashville.
Hey everybody, it's me, Todd Novak. Welcome to the Guitar Knobs podcast. So thrilled to death that you are listening to our show. We are joined in the studio today by Mr.
John Esterly with Rare Buzz Effects.
That's right.
Yoo-hoo.
And Billy is out right now. I don't know where he's at, but he's not here tonight. And that's okay. We've got a full house because we also have a fabulous guest. Guest, who are you?
I am Phil with Sex Cult Friends.
Phil.
All right.
With Sex Cult Friends Effects.
Woohoo.
Just to make sure, because if you type in just that, you're going to get a whole bunch of other stuff. Trust me. I went down that rabbit hole.
Is that true?
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, you should
Salacious.
you should search your own
Why
brand.
would-
Minus a word.
Yeah. Anyhow, so we're going to have a fantastic show tonight.
A yabba dabba do time.
Yes. Phil is the maker of something called the Bambi fuzz, as well as some other things. And they're just really fantastic pedals. They're super cool. And we're going to talk to him about said pedal, which is sitting in front of us, as well as the endeavors that led him up to this delicious box of awesomeness. In the meantime, we're going to hit a few things that we always do. And just for anybody who might be joining our show for the first time, we've got a bunch of new followers that I noticed on Instagram. So
Yeah.
hopefully they're listening to the show.
Yes.
Met a bunch of people out at gigs recently. Hopefully they're listening to the show. Hey, if you played with the Valentinas recently at a big show about a week ago, hey, welcome. Glad you're listening, everybody. Tony, what do we do on this show?
We like to talk about gear. Specifically, we like to talk about boutique gear. And that includes things like guitars and amps and pedals and accessories and
Oh, my.
all the good stuff.
Indeed.
And we usually talk to the makers of said boutique gear.
That is the point.
And that is really the point. But
point-
occasionally,
Yeah.
Todd, we do our 101 episodes where we learn about stuff that we should already know
Correctamundo.
or
And-
always wanted to know.
And just to be clear, we don't talk. The goal isn't to talk to these people. The goal is to tilt the said spotlight on these people for the rest of everybody else to learn about them.
I think that's a fair assessment.
All right. Well, Phil, we're glad that you're joining us tonight. Really excited to talk to you, as we mentioned. So we're going to get on with this. We have a few announcements. We need to thank Rode Mics for this delicious box of awesomeness called the Rodecaster Pro. And by the way, the Rodecaster Pro 2 is out.
Oh, I haven't
and
seen
that.
it's even awesomer.
Does it have more light up buttons?
Are we going to
There
get-
are more things. There's more functionality. And most importantly, this is why. So this first one was a big breakthrough, but the second one is even more a breakthrough. Okay.
Are we going to get him?
Well, I'm hoping. So what's going on with the with this is that this original one was built for podcasting.
Yes.
Like, almost expressly. But as you might know, for years we've been saying, and you might want to try, like, you can run, do some instrumentation through it if see what can happen.
Very nice.
They have built that into the new one. So
smart.
not only can you do mics, but you can do line in, guitar line in, and
Okay,
all that
so
stuff. So
line level
this is
stuff.
a
Great.
total. So this is a home studio masterpiece.
So Nick must have been listening to us.
So if you're a content creator and you're doing demo videos or whatever, you can not only do all your microphones through here, but you can also run your instruments. It's pretty fantastic. So
Nice.
Outstanding.
yes, thanks to Rode for supplying the old one that we have, and it's still running strong. So I'm not like, oh, we need a new one so bad. I'm not.
But you should ask.
I'm not going to say no, but they got
Yeah.
they've been good to us. Anyhow, I just also want to give a great big shout out to Relay Recording. That's where we are right now. This is also where I spent a very long Sunday recording a new I guess, for lack of better terms, you can call it an EP. We got 4 songs that are coming out, and we decided not to wait to fill up an album, but to put it out here. But John Fintel is the recording engineer. He runs the studio. He is a mixer and a masterer. That's important because a lot of people who are doing home studio stuff can only take it so far. And that's where you have to actually, it's good to get a trained pair of ears that can really, really dial the thing in how you truly want it. And John is available to do that. You can hit him up at Relay Recording and send him your files, and he'll tell you what he can do to make them betterer. All right.
John will record you.
Yeah, that's the new jingle. All right, let's talk about what's going on in the music world this week, everybody. There's a lot going on. An awful lot.
This is a big one.
And we're going to start out with Tanya Belansky.
Yes.
Then we're going to check in with our friend Phil. And then we're going to go around the horn. And I'll call on the other students, okay? Tony, please.
This is an exciting music world this week.
Hey, okay.
Because the gang, that's you guys. Jared, there'll be one coming to you.
Thank you, sir.
And one of our lucky listeners is going to get one of these. So you can be part of the gang. I've got one. Todd will have one. John Esterly will have one. Jared will have one. And one lucky listener will get one too. What is it?
So Tony has a mysterious box for the kids at home that he is reaching into.
Yes.
Because everybody needs, they all can't be Jared and spend thousands of dollars on real
What's up with this?
Klon centaurs. So I bought a bunch of Chinese Klon centaur clones.
Oh, fun.
Oh, sweet. Dude, that's
And it's got
awesome.
the right artwork on it.
I love it.
Is this another DH Gate
Yes,
delight?
it's a DH Gate delight.
So they were $25?
Just
close.
about. Pretty close.
This looks like
Thanks, Tony.
the Wish Klon
the Wish
pedal
version?
here. Yeah, the Wish version.
Awesome.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
this
it's
is
got
wonderful.
the little knobs. The what are I can't remember what they're
Can't
called.
wait
The
to
chicken head
eat
pointers.
it.
No, but there's a specific
These are Davies 1510.
Davies 1510. That's right.
Yeah.
So
What if it's like right on? Like
it
spot
actually,
on?
It's
I can't say it sounds exactly like a Klon, but I will say it's a decent pedal.
is the gain a double? Stack
I am
pot?
opening it up right
John
now.
is going
That's
to,
going to be the difference.
I will let you know.
but it
Mine,
says
when you
Klon
turn the
right on the
gain all
inside
the way
on the
up,
circuit
it is
board, so it must be
That's right.
real.
Copyright Bill
Yeah.
Finnegan.
Yeah, my real one saturates really well. I mean, it sounds.
Well, that's what I'll be
Great.
curious. I'll shoot this one out to you tomorrow, Jared. But put them side by side. I'm curious to see what you think.
I really appreciate that. That's
No,
pretty,
it's
actually
very-
pretty cool.
Very appreciated, Tony.
Well, I know.
That's
I
super
don't care
duper
how
cool.
much you paid; it's still cool as hell.
Yeah. And I think that's
Thank
one
you.
of the things. Hey, Phil, do you have any kind of a clone or a clone or a clone of a clone?
Just a tumness. That was enough for me, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, for now anyway. Like it's suiting my needs.
So I will just right out of the gate here. This appears to be almost a part for part clone.
up.
It's got dual pots. It's got germanium transistors. It's got all the right chips.
It's got all the stuff.
It's all through hole except for the no, it's all through hole. Todd just took it out of my hands, folks, so I'm not looking at it anymore. But yeah, it appears to be.
I was going to go
Wow.
a step further and put black goop all over the stuff so you
Right.
couldn't see it. Make it authentic.
that black epoxy just
Well, I
put
have.
some on there.
So, actually, I'll bring this up when I talk about my thingamabob. Hey, Tony, that's super cool. Thank you.
No problem.
What a sweetheart you is.
That's what I am. I'm
So,
just sweet through and through.
we got one, but you said one of our listeners.
one
is
of
gonna
our
get one?
listeners is going to get one too.
I love that.
So be prepared.
That's
we'll figure that
fantastic.
part about how we're going to give it away.
I wish, you know what, you need to sign all these on the inside. Say, I made this special for you.
I made this. I did this.
Yeah, and exactly. All right.
Thank you, DH Gate.
Yeah. Yeah, just write it in Chinese.
Okay, I can do that.
That'd be fantastic. Thank you for being a sucker. Anyhow, Phil, tell us what's going on in your music world this week, and if you can hold off the classic "I was building pedals" for the interview, that'd be great.
Oh, let's see. I sanded the finish off of the back of my Rickenbacker 330 off of the neck. I just went for it.
Tony
the best decision ever.
Sweating blood right now.
I know.
Well, why would
I know. It's going to anger a lot of people.
Why would you do that?
Because I like the feel
like
of
the feel of
the maple.
Huh.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm
nice
going to back
maple.
him on that. I'm backing him on that. I've got a 79 Les Paul. All the finishes wore off the back of the neck, and that's maple.
Well,
It's actually a great feeling neck.
Yeah, I think what Tony's getting at is like worn off is one thing. Actually, my number one, I asked to not be finished in that manner for that same purpose. And Phil, I actually tried doing that to the. I have a Gibson Les Paul Special double cut, and the back of the neck just has always felt sticky.
Yeah, that's that era of Gibson lacquer is not good.
It's terrible, and I tried to sand it down, and that was a terrible decision because it just got even goopier, and so then we had to buff it all out and fix it. But
now, did you keep the? I'm sure that you. Hopefully, you kept the lacquer that's on the. Well, it's not exactly a lacquer, but is it on the front of the fretboard?
I still have that.
Okay. I can't talk tonight for some reason.
I'm sorry I did the upsetting thing with the finish on the neck. I knew that was going to be a bombshell.
No, man, you got to play it.
Well, if it's more comfortable for you, absolutely. And that did you not like the finish, how the finish felt on it before, and just decided to do this, or?
I actually liked how it felt, but I was actually finding myself getting hand cramps because my theory when I was watching myself play was that I couldn't get proper friction on my thumb when I was trying to chord.
Okay.
And because it just slips around, so I would do weird things with my hands to try to compensate. That would just kind of, it would cramp me. And ever since I got the finish off, I don't have any more cramps playing it. So
Oh, wow.
I don't really regret it.
So then that was the right thing to do.
Mighty sweaty hands then.
Oh, yeah.
Well, don't judge the guy.
Well, Todd here
There's
in
a scientific deduction.
okay.
Well, that's cool. What color is your? What model did you say it was?
330 Jet Glow Black.
Oh yeah, okay, that's cool.
Look really good with some gold glitter guards.
Yes, it would. But yeah. Anyways, so let's see here, John. How about yourself?
Well, it's been an interesting week for me. I've got several guitar projects that were in various stages of waiting for parts, and all of the parts came last week.
Oh wow!
So now I've had to make some decisions about which ones are going to go together first, and all of them I have really had some issues with. So Tony, we had issues with a pick guard that the pickup didn't quite fit in, so we were able to adjust that. I've got another pick guard that we have to make another adjustment for, just because not my fault. Not my fault. Not Tony's fault. I did not account for the bridge when we cut the pick guards, so there's a little interference there. And then none of the output jacks worked for either guitar. So, yeah, you're making a funny face, and that's exactly right. So, yeah, been a bit of a struggle, but I hope to get them together. And
maybe you can brush up on your soldering skills.
Well, it's, the output jacks are not a soldering problem. They are mechanically fitting in the body problem.
Oh, sure. Blame it on the jack. Yep. But no, other than that, I do want to give a quick shout out. So Zach at Deadbug Circuits, a pedal builder out of Toledo, sent me home with a prototype to play with. I can't really talk about what it is, but we spent some time with it over the last week, and it's really fun. And
as someone who owns a couple of his existing pedals, I'm pretty excited to see it come out. So keep
Nice.
your eyes open for Deadbug Circuit's new
Really
releases.
cool.
Yeah.
Excellent. Jared, about yourself?
Did I mention the 1800s Martin?
Yes.
You said that you were getting one and that you were going to have it shipped
I
up
went
to our good friends up
Yes,
in Akron.
and that happened before because I gave the funds to Zachary Oswald, who owns Brandon One Pickups, my old business that he now runs very well, and he took the guitar up there to Lay's, and they asked me, do you want it refinished like new, or do you just want it playable? And I said, just make it playable. I mean, it was tempting, but if you see any guitar from the 1800s and it looks brand new, like,
Yeah.
that
It's a
to
little
me,
weird.
it's not right. So,
Right.
having it not refinished, it's going to just look old and like it should, and have
but
it
playable, right?
playable, and playable player can. Yeah, it used to have the old timey tuners, and then Klusons were put on it, and so yeah, it's going to be easily. It's a parlor size guitar, so I'm hoping it'll sound really good. But I haven't even heard it yet, so I don't know. I just kind of took a chance on it,
Nice.
and then and then today I went into work. I work at Gibson, for those who don't know, at the headquarters there. I walked in, and I work in a small area with a few other people, and we share a common table. And on that table was a Gibson Victory guitar from the 80s.
Victory. As
And
she had a
That's right.
baby. Ooh-wee. Okay, go ahead.
That's the song I played when I picked it up. So it has these really super rare Magna something or other pickups on it, and I've never heard of them. I don't think they were successful. Obviously not, because we don't make them anymore. But I can't wait to kind of dig into those pickups and kind of see how they were
What's
made.
the
But
can you tell us about like the signature, like why?
it's an old guitar. It's already been out.
No. I mean,
it-
of the pickups, like what about the pickups is unique and or weird, and why didn't they work?
The coils are taller. The screw poles were like flat, totally flat, and I think they might be magnets. I don't know. I have to kind of analyze it without really tearing it apart too much. But
Cool.
I don't know if
You think they're gonna try to
hopefully I
bring it
have
back or something?
Nah.
Oh, that's secret.
Well,
Yeah,
as
I
I
don't know.
said last week, that photo of Cesar playing that mystery guitar does kind of resemble a Victory in terms of the shape of the body.
Was it the same one, Jared?
That was not the guitar. This is an old guitar.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's old guitars in there and we might look at it and be like, oh, we really like the way we did this neck pitch, or, oh yeah, we did this. So there can be a guitar in there just to look at the tuners that were on the guitar. It doesn't mean we're going to redo the guitar.
Yeah. No one was saying
So,
that.
I mean, we have a ton of old guitars from the past.
You should bring in some of yours, like that nicotined out one. That thing's actually that one and the white nicked out one. Oh man, the people lose their minds over those things.
I took my 62 in, and they actually, and Custom Shop actually scanned it. So there's probably a bunch of 62 SG reissues out there with the profile of my neck on my 62.
Oh, interesting.
So that's kind of cool. And they own their own 61 as well. But their no two necks are the exact same from that era, because you had people, kind of shaping those by hand to a certain point. So, really interesting stuff,
cool.
man. You never know what you're going to find when you walk in the HQ, hanging up on somebody's wall in their office or wherever. So
That was one of my favorite
I thought
things
that was pretty cool.
at the old repair department when it was at the place near Vanderbilt that they had these boxes and boxes, tall boxes of necks. And I mean,
Yeah.
there were hundreds of them, and you could just pull it out, and it's like, 58 Flying V, 59 Les Paul. You know, they just had these things for profiles, for reference, for more than anything, I guess.
Well, yeah, they had a duplicator. They had 2 duplicators at one time.
It's like
And
signature
they were
baseball
actually-
bats
Yeah.
for real.
Yeah.
Like the real
They
players.
don't.
You know.
I've seen the duplicators and the same ones in that movie that Gibson movie that came
Yeah.
out back in March.
Yeah.
But we have them sitting in a warehouse right now. We're not using them.
Very cool.
We
Very
have a
cool.
little better technology that gets the job done a little better. So,
I can imagine.
what about the next guy? Is
Well,
it John?
No, that would be me.
Oh yeah, that's you, Todd. What about
Yes.
you? Old
Hi. Well, man, I got so much stuff going on, but today I'm going to discuss where I'm sitting right now, currently with the gig board, and that was essentially I have been trying to figure out. I've liked the Centura clone that I got. From the one overseas that they do in the original box and all that stuff. It just really sounds fantastic, and I love how it sounds with the Marshall. But it wasn't. It didn't have enough going on with it. It just kind of felt like a little dry, and I'm actually using it almost. Well, probably like at 4 o'clock on gain, 3 o'clock to 4 o'clock. I mean, I've got it goosed.
I'm at.
Interestingly enough, when you go full dime, it doesn't. It kind of is a little. It's just not right. You start to lose some of the ness of it, in my opinion. But I wanted something to push that a little bit further and to give me some extra bits. So I've been looking for the right pedal to put in front of it. I've tried many, and I said, well, the only one I haven't tried theoretically so far. I seriously probably tried about 10 or 15 different pedals. The only one I didn't try is basically the only one I didn't have, which was not the only one I didn't have, but one of the major ones that people are saying, like, this sounds great in front of this. Now, typically, that makes me say, then I don't want to do it because I want to be different. It's true. So I went to Reverb, and I picked up a used Morning Glory version 4 with the added headroom, the gain switch, etc. And I put that in front of the Klon Centura, or not the Klon Centura, but the Centura clone. And I was like, it was like angels. Man, it just sounded so good. Oh. And it sounded good. And I was like, that's okay. This is it. I'm not touching anything more. I got a couple gigs coming up. This is what I'm rolling with. And so I was just really happy because the stack, how they interact in front of each other, getting the levels just right so it doesn't sound blown out, where you still have articulation, but it's got that extra sort of ness to it. Oh man, outstanding combo. And that was, it's the soft clip in front of the hard clip. I mean, that's only, yeah. I mean, man, outstanding combo. Anyhow, so there's that. That's what I did, and I was very happy. Very happy in thread, yes. And that's actually going into the HX Stomp, which I have my modulation. And I kind of downsized my pedal board for right now because I was having some actual physical issues with the connections on the pedal board and everything. And I was like, I can't deal with this. It was like cutting out completely, and then to unplug how many pedals to,
Right.
I was like, I have to get go. So I had a 4 pedal board, the TC Mini, Morning Glory, V4, the Centura into the HX Stomp, and then out we go, and it sounded fantastic.
Well, there you go. Simple. Simple is best.
So anyways, yeah, and that'll probably change next month. That's what I do. But I was very happy with it so far. So let's talk about a couple. We have one more thing we just wanted to bring up. Phil.
Yes. Sorry, way loud.
Yeah, sorry.
I had to hit the mute.
See, there's so much to talk about on here, including the thing that we're going to talk about with you. But we did want to just kind of go around. I just wanted to open this up really quick, okay?
Yes.
Well, actually, it's kind of like two big announcements, but also one big announcement. And Jared is probably very well aware of this, but okay, anybody who's been listening to the show for any amount of time knows I am a massive Oasis fan.
Who's that?
Shut it. And Noel Gallagher just released the Gibson, his another Gibson signature. Actually, not another Gibson signature.
Well,
but
let's go back because there was the Epiphone.
There's the
Noel
there's two.
Gallagher. There's the blue one, and then there's
that's
the
called
Union
the
Jack one.
Supernova.
Yes.
And that's in Pelham Blue.
Pelham.
After his beloved soccer team, and then there's the Supernova. Then there's the Union Jack version of that. But this is the one that he's been playing, like the one he's been playing for a long, long time, especially in his solo stuff. Is I believe it's a 1960 ES 335. I could be 355. Sorry,
355.
I could be wrong on the year, but it's a red. Gold hardware.
Yep.
355.
Yep.
ES 355 and
baritone switch
with the baritone switch and the Bigsby and the whole 9 yards.
Yep.
And he's been playing that thing for a long time. And so they just made a signature version of that, and that retails for a nominal $10,000.
Oh.
Well, I mean, it's $9,999.
Yeah.
So let's not
Yeah,
get
let's-
carried.
don't
Let's not get
exaggerate,
carried
Todd.
away.
I'm counting tax. And then he also released, not he, but the Gibson Company, Epiphone released the Riviera version of the song that was made famous for a very specific video that they did where he was just sitting there kind of all by himself playing his guitar, and it happens to be this red wine-colored Riviera with the white pickguard. It's based off of the 1983 Riviera, which is a remake of the original Riviera. Now, the original Rivieras were known to have for lack of better terms, the two-level trapeze tailpiece.
Right.
Which was famously used, borderline incorrectly, on the Sheraton, the original Union Jack Sheraton. So I don't know how it ended up on that guitar, that two-level trapeze tailpiece, but that's what it is. So if you actually buy the remake, which is not a Sheraton, but just a 335 model, whatever of the Epiphone.
Yeah.
It has a stop tail.
Yeah.
It doesn't have the dual trapeze. It's a big confusing thing. Parts and pieces end up on guitars, and then you're like, but that's not the way it was.
That's right. Well, you know, the original Riviera was one of the first U.S. cars with front-wheel drive.
Amazing. That's incredible. Thanks, Tony. So anyhow, all that is to say that Epiphone, that signature model Epiphone, is $1,000. But the provenance is that he would have used that, like
On
in
what
the
song?
studio on all the songs. Yeah.
What
So,
song?
It was on.
Cesar said what song it was today, and I can't remember.
It's called
It's,
"Don't Look Back in Anger." Yeah. And it's
I
basically
like that song.
it's like one of the only ones that isn't really featuring Liam at all. And
Probably
yeah.
for good reason.
Yeah, it's a great song. Anyhow, woo wee. So that was fun. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Phil, what do you think?
What do I think about that guitar?
Yeah,
I love that double trapeze one.
I see. I would want to put a double trapeze on it. No, you can't
No, you really can't.
without leaving two big holes in it.
Well, that's where you use that custom-made engraved placard.
Oh yeah, you could,
Yeah.
You should
but
get
I
it.
won't. Not for $1,000. Sorry,
Epiphone making really good stuff right now.
Yes.
I'm not buying.
No.
No, seriously, Epiphone really is making really good stuff right now.
That's a $700 difference. That's what I don't understand. It's like, you could have made the one for the masses for all the young kids who are like rediscovering all the '90s music. It's like that's a lot of money for an Epiphone.
True.
Anyways, let's head on to a few things.
Todd, you had mentioned earlier.
I did.
That you ran two Klon-like pedals, one into the other. No?
Just one.
Just one?
Yes, accompanied by a Morning Glory.
Oh, what's the Morning Glory?
Morning Glory is loosely based off of the Blues Breaker.
Ah, I see. Well, regardless, was there a way? I mean, normally, wouldn't you have to like solder them together or something?
I did try bare copper wire.
Twisted wires?
Yes, it was a little shocking, but yeah. So I use. I'll quit. Eject. Go to Tour Gear Designs and get yourself some patch cables that will solve this problem. And please,
and
friends,
many other problems.
But please don't ever try to put raw wires into your pedals or anything like that.
No, don't do that. We do not support this.
So yes, Tour Gear Designs, they make absolutely fantastic products. They accommodate so many different types of configurations.
They're very flat.
Yes, they are very flat. And if you've got a 2-level, like a big enough for like a top row and a bottom row kind of board, they actually make a cable that will go from your last pedal Z all the way underneath or on top over to your other pedal. It's like a 24-inch patch cable.
Oh, I see.
It's brilliant.
Wow.
And an 18 and a 12, I believe.
And what else?
And little ones, 3-inch, 4-inch, 6-inch.
1
it's
inch.
crazy. And
They have
they've got the
1-inch
different
cable.
configurations. They don't have a 1-inch cable. Anyways, go to tourgeardesigns.com. Get yourself a whole bunch of great patch cables.
Wait a cotton picking moment there.
Yes, they're affordable.
Because they're affordable. But if you, at your checkout, type in the guitar knobs,
You're going to save 10%.
an extra 10%.
That can't be off the whole order.
Oh,
It
it's
is.
in the entire order.
The
so
entire
You're just going to load up your shopping cart, hit that the guitar knobs, and you're going to save 10%.
Yeah.
And this stuff will get to you fast.
And they're packaged in Canada, so even the packaging is nice.
It's very polite packaging.
All right. Thank you to Tour Gear Designs for sponsoring our 4 on the Floor.
Let me get a little bit of this.
1, 2, 3. 4 on the floor. Oh, you just missed the gaff. Hey, everybody, we got Phil Robles from
Sassy Friends.
Sex Cult Friends. My brain doesn't want to say it because I'll get in trouble. Anyways, Phil, what is your 4 on the floor?
All right. So this is like the one drive that I always use. The DoD Looking Glass is
Ooh,
my main.
that has not been on the show before.
Really?
Yeah.
It's super underrated. It's a really kind of Vox-ish, glassy drive kind of thing.
Okay.
A little clangy if you want to, make it go that way. It's almost like a top boost,
Okay.
Vox AC30 has a really nice biasing on like the front end of it, like before it even like goes into the rest of the circuit. It's adds a lot to just the input. It's just very simple. I'm simple with everything. With I don't want too many controls, and this is kind of like the extent of how much I want for control. Like the little double knob for the EQ. I dig for the little treble and bass on one knob section. Super simple level gain, and then this bias input is just really this like input filter is really, really useful, and it should probably be on like every overdrive.
Nice. That's nice. What's number 2?
Number 2 is the classic. I'm going to go double Dodd with the 250.
Oh yeah.
Another-
Okay. 250
yeah.
preamp. Yeah.
Yeah, simple classic.
Is that a vintage one or is it reissue?
Oh, it's just a reissue. I've messed with like building the circuit a few times as well. It's just like a really fun, simple circuit. also mixing it with like the MXR Distortion Plus is, it's so similar, but there's something between like the two of them that is really usable.
Nice.
On like different kind of categories, I suppose. Let's see.
What's number 3?
Number 3 is another classic. I'm sorry I'm boring with these classics. But like
we love the classics.
The Rossi E2 is just super usable chorus. I use it in a ton of different things. Sounds great with fuzz, sounds great clean. Again, super classic, super boring. I'm not adding a lot, but I just love it. It's simple.
Number 4.
Number 4 is it's just a super simple, again, deadbeat void reverb.
Okay.
It's a reverb pedal that's, again, just 2 knobs, and it's just a nice kind of spring reverb that's very it goes from a good dry sound to a very good kind of surfy wet sound, but there's kind of like a dark quality to it that I really dig, almost like the what is it, the Afterneath kind of quality, but not digital. Or I mean, it is digital, but it sounds like more like an analog reverb tank or something.
Nice. Do you have any of the other Deadbeat stuff?
No, I don't actually. Well,
I was I've almost pulled the trigger. I believe the Thank You.
Oh yeah.
I've seen that twice, and I didn't get it either time. And John's drooping his head at me. I know. And one of the times I was like, wait, how? It was like $46, and I didn't do it. I know. I'm stupid. That was one of my put a check mark in the stupid box. Anyhow, well, that's I appreciate the classic lineup, and there's you got to do what works for you. Just out of curiosity, like, what kind of music are you playing?
I mostly play kind of like post-punk, like very like jagged guitar kind of stuff. Like kind of influenced by maybe like Gang of Four or like Wire kind of things.
Yeah.
Just that very angular guitar. And I play a lot of just classic punk stuff and kind of proto-punk. I'm really into like, Television and what else?
The Valentinos, yeah.
The Valentinos. I actually really do. Yeah, that was great. I dig the guitar tones on that especially.
Thanks.
He's a hack at best.
I am. I'm a total hack. Are you kidding me?
Wasn't that John Fennell playing on those?
Yeah, right.
On all the recordings, yes.
Yeah. That's cool stuff, man. I can totally appreciate that. What kind of amp are you playing out of?
Just a Fender Twin. I'm a pretty minimal guy.
Yeah, it's turning out I mean, that's like an era correct rig, pretty much.
Yeah, a Silverface, actually. I go for that. I like Silverface. I know that's not popular. It's all about the blackface, but I just like that kind of sterile clean. I don't know if I would call it sterile, but, it's not like a Roland, which sounds very like pristine kind of clean, but
No, but it's got tons of volume and you can really buckle your knees if you stand in front of it at just the right spot.
Yeah, it has some nice punch to it. Totally.
Now you had let's see, you got that. I kind of pegged you. I thought you were gonna say like a Roland Jazz or something like that.
I did actually. Yeah, I have a JC50 that I really dig. I like blending the two. You could take the chorus out and then put that through the twin reverb and just have this wall of reverby chorus. That's amazing. Highly recommended. But yeah, I guess you were right. Jazz chorus Roland.
Sweet, man. Well, let's see here. Let's get into the thing that you made, which doesn't line up with any of that. Let's just be, kind of honest about that. You made a pedal that doesn't sound terribly angular,
Right.
or terribly any of the things that we just talked about. But what it does sound like is pretty outstanding. Before you and I talked yesterday, I did the unboxing and I did a little recording to send it to you because I just didn't want to stop playing this thing. And I sent it over, and then we had a phone call, and it was really great. And I was trying to get it over to Tony's house last night. I was like calling him late. I'm like, I gotta give you this pedal so you can bleggle. And he was asleep as. So, anyways, but Tony had today to play with it. You were just ignoring me. What a nice guy. The pedal that we have in front of us is called. What you explain what we have in front of us, Phil.
It is it's called the Bambi, and it's based off of a Roland Bebop fuzz, which is like a classic early 70s fuzz. What actually got me looking into it in the first place was kind of through like a punk kind of approach, because the first place that I really saw that was in an old photo of the band Crass using it.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, so they get that really kind of crazy that feedback sound, and just that weird little chirpy guitar that I don't even know how to describe that little chuggy guitar that they do, but you can get that with the bebop. So that's what kind of set me out.
Wow.
On that journey was wanting that pedal, but not wanting to pay like $500 for it.
Right. That is definitely a 500 pedal, not to be confused with the BG, which is also a very expensive pedal.
Yeah.
So did you get your hands on one of the vintage bebop pedals?
Yeah, I only got to borrow it for a bit, but then I just started like cloning it, the circuit itself, and really did a lot of experimentation with it for actually a couple of years.
Wow.
There's just been several prototypes and different, just different versions until getting to this point now. So yeah, it took a while just like studying it and exploring it to a point where I felt like I kind of, I felt like it was ready.
Right. And you've obviously made a few of your own additions to that. Now, I know I could go on and on and on about the things that I like about it, but I've got two other guys at the table who are handling it. Jared, you've got a picture of it. Unfortunately, you weren't able to handle it yourselves. But Tony, why don't you share some of the things that are kind of piquing your interest about this right now, and then he can tell us a little bit more about the actual build and what it does.
Sure. Well,
thanks, Tony. John, how? I love doing that.
I love
Go
you
ahead, Tony.
all.
No,
Jared.
I'm not going to say anything. No, I am a self-proclaimed non-liker of most fuzz pedals. I like this fuzz pedal because it's usable fuzz. It's
It's
got a great range. So kudos to you. I mean, I liked in your little accompanying booklet, and I liked on your on the one of the circuit boards in the thing where it says they don't want you to like fuzz.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think that part of it was good. I like the boost side of it. I thought that is very useful and controllable, and that's kind of what I like out of almost any pedal, is that it gives you kind of a wide range of function. The thing that I thought when I first pulled it out of the box that I thought was really cool is almost the kind of like cut lettering, decoupage kind of thing that you've got buried underneath a bunch of...
it kind of has an old punk flyer-ness to it.
Totally.
Yeah.
And I thought it was cool. And
From
then
Christmas.
And then when I plugged it in, and when you switch between boost and fuzz, you have a couple of holes underneath the things here that light up that you can't see otherwise. So I thought that was...
that was a neat surprise.
Yeah. I all in all, I like the pedal. I like, again, the flexibility. And maybe you can kind of... maybe discuss a little bit. I know there's a high-low switch on here.
We're going to get into the functionality, sir.
Okay.
Sir. John?
You'll have to sit down
Jump
now,
in.
sir.
So I'm going to say the first thing that I notice about it is this is a very unusual enclosure. I mean, dimensionally,
it's a square, but he's going to elaborate.
The footprint is very similar to like a 1590 BB, the larger standard size, but it's,
quite deep,
3 inches tall. So it's definitely going to stand out on the pedal board. And I'm going to kind of echo what Tony says.
Tony measured it
about the artwork, and I will say this. So I feel like there is a disparity between the artwork, which appears to be, very cut up and I don't want to say amateur. That's the wrong term, but it's definitely it's done, I think, to order. And then the overall build quality is just incredible. I mean, we opened it up.
Really nice.
The inside is just incredibly built. These are premium components. I mean, I know what this stuff is. These are good parts. So, I think it's aesthetically designed to look like it's, an old punk rock poster, but I mean, the build quality is absolutely top notch. So top work. And I will say I'm the one that did not get to play with the pedal. But,
don't worry.
But based on what I see here, I'm sure
we're going to plug it into the
wonderful
Union Jack over here, and maybe we'll even put that into the Sound City.
Ooh.
So one of they've already talked about a lot of the big stuff. I would say the things that we're all all excited about is that there are lots of little surprises, not only in what it can do, but you've paid attention to the things that we pay the players, the builders, the collectors. You paid attention to things that matter to us without overriding. Nothing is too much, too over the top. You're like, oh, okay, settle down, man. There's a book that a little booklet that I really enjoyed, and this is like DIY art school, throwback, right? The funny thing is, I actually just really want. I think a big poster of this would be fantastic. There's a frame, and right now, I for the listeners, this is going to be a little, maybe a little tough. But there's a frame where the Bambi is like walking down the street. So it's walking down the street, and there's a shady guy in this pizza thing, and he's looking out the window, and he's pointing at and it seems to be he's like, get off the road, something like some sort of negativity at our. Be-jacketed. He's got like a rock and roll jacket on. This Bambi does. But the best part about this is the caption says, "Fish can see more colors than me. I don't hate them." And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't even know what that means. I love it. I just want that, like really big. Geez. Oh my gosh, that'd be amazing. And I just took that out of context, and I'm like, yay. I went back to read the whole thing and got the context of it, but out of context, it's amazing.
Yeah.
You should just make that. Just sell a million of those.
I actually did make a print. I made a print of that.
You're kidding.
And nope, I made it, but I just got to get some better paper stock, and I'll probably put some prints up or something.
Oh
somewhere.
Man, yeah, you got to do that. I will absolutely nab one of those.
All right.
Okay, so. We got we did the high praises of the things that people can kind of wrap their heads around, and the anodized knobs. And now here's something I also want to bring up. This was an interesting thing because the story talks about some color blindness situation. Mm-hmm. And my daughter, who I showed, who's like super into all the same stuff I am, which is really cool. She goes, these are the same colors that colorblind people can't see. And I was like,
yeah,
what? And she's like, yeah, these are the same colors. And she goes, was that on purpose? I'm like, I don't know. Was it on purpose?
It is sometimes. And then so I initially made the red and green because I used to have one LED instead of two to show which channel you were on. Mm-hmm. And like red and green are kind of the only bicolor LEDs you can find in good quantity from people that aren't like some weird shady website, at least when I was looking back then. So I kind of defaulted to the red and green, but I started to think about colorblind people the whole time. I was thinking about colorblind people.
Yeah.
Just like, I don't like that it's limited to these colors where I know it's the most limited, it's the most common color blindness is red and green. So
Right.
I spent some time and separated on the PCB to make it 2 separate LEDs. So now I can choose 2 different colors. And so I make variations of the pedal that use other non-green and red versions so that colorblind people have an option that they might be able to see a little bit better on my website.
Interesting.
Yeah. So there will be like violet and yellow ones and,
That sounds cool.
just different variations of it that hopefully, hopefully people can have a better experience with, which, sorry to ramble, but
No, you're good.
It ties into, on my website, there's like a Build a Bambi section, which is like, I'm always aware of people, these are kind of chaotic looking pedals. And I want people to not feel sort of like put off by that if, maybe it's too much for them, like it's too much stimuli or something, and they want like a simple version, or they need bigger text or anything that will make their life, kind of better
that's really
when they're
cool.
using it. Like I just, message me and tell me what you want. Cause, I make these custom, so I can build something for you that's more usable for you. If you're like, you feel left out or something in some way, if there's some way I can accommodate, I will,
That's
more than
really
happy to
cool.
do it.
Now you've flooded the top with what looks to be epoxy. Are we correct in that?
Yeah, it's epoxy resin.
Yeah. Which is a unique way to, get your artwork on there without going, how am I going to screen? This is a five color screen print. How am I going to do that?
Yeah.
It gives it a real personal touch, and I think that's something that we talked about this last night, where we've had, there's pedals out there that I know that I have that I personally really love, with like the Champion Lecky, the early Champion Lecky, the Red Noise, and we've got this, and anybody who did the early home painting and stuff like that. I got one from Jonathan Dudzik that is literally completely covered in gold glitter. I love that. It's so cool.
So cool.
So I appreciate that not everybody can or even wants to do like a perfect pedal or a perfectly exact duplicate of that pedal. Those are great too. Not knocking either one of them, but it's
Right.
nice when you have the ability to have something that's like, well, that's the only one like that.
Now, are these done collage style, Phil? I mean, is this like really individually cut out words and pictures, or do you have like a master art that kind of sits down in here?
So I do have like the master art, and I'm sorry, I don't have kids. Those are my neighbors if you hear them. But God, that's annoying. Anyway, what was
Master art.
Master art. Thank you. So I have like the master illustration file, and I just do various prints of them. I might like change the color a bit. And actually, for a while, my printer was it was out of commission, and then bring it back, into working again. It would leave all these weird streaks and all these little mistakes that I actually really liked, and just started printing off all these bizarre mistakes where the colors and streaks were all wrong. And I just cut those out and arrange them. I often use like found photos and just anything that's around that, seems like it will fit in that spot for whatever I'm doing on, that piece of art itself. If it fits within that one pedal, then I'll, throw it in.
Yeah.
I kind of don't really care what it is, so long as it's like somewhat archival.
That's kind of along the lines of a lot of things that Hello Sailor does too. Mm-hmm. It's just like, hey, I found a bunch of this stuff, and so here's that.
Yeah.
Cool, man. So are you a classically trained electronicist?
Absolutely not.
Ah. So how did you fall into making this fantastic pedal?
Oh, right. So I do have like a background playing in bands, doing that whole thing, mostly early 2000s. And then around like the late 2010s, I think I got fired from my last retail job where I was just like, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to look for another job like this. And I decided to go to school again. So I went to art school and I actually went that path. I studied a very industrial design kind of, I don't know, like they have that sort of mindset there. Even in like illustration and fine art, there's still some sort of like industrial design component in the way that school worked. Art Center College of Design in Pasadena.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I got really back into playing music after I graduated because I just wasn't playing a lot. I just didn't have a lot of time. And I got super into pedals. And then I'm just nerdy and I want to know how things work. And I just started, pulling things apart and figuring it out. And just cramming my brain with the info when I decided to, really start making them myself. I just wanted to make things that I couldn't find out there in the way that I wanted them. And then it's just fun for me anyway. I just like tinkering with stuff. So I sort of took that route.
And so once you, like, when you started doing this, like, how, did you get into it easily? Were you just like, oh my gosh, I'm lost? Or were you like, oh, this is piece of cake, I got it?
I definitely felt overwhelmed and lost in the beginning of it. But I don't know. I had some weird sort of like click mentally at some point where it just all of a sudden, like, it made sense. And I could sort of, I had some weird sort of way of mentally picturing electronics that is sort of illustrative and is not very math based, but it started to work for me in that way. And so it's just a weird sort of like artist approach, I guess, to getting into it. But yeah, it was very difficult at first to like just understand the basic concepts. But I don't know. I just did a lot of practicing and ruining a lot of boards. And I got there, I suppose. Got somewhere.
Are you pretty plugged into like the digital community? Were you reliant on that for help, or did you mainly just like, was it books and YouTube or?
A lot of YouTube, a lot of, I did use the help of the DIY pedal subreddit a lot, actually. That's a great place to learn about stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other DIY pedal boards. But yeah, just a lot of, it was just coming from every sort of direction 24/7. I would even feed it into my brain when I was sleeping because I was just like, I got to get this in now. Like, I want to learn about this quickly. So yeah, I was going just constant 24/7.
That's awesome. So. Is there any builders in particular that you were particularly inspired by? Not saying the pedal for the, this particular, we've already referenced the BBAM. Beba, sorry.
The Beba,
yeah. But any builders out there that you're like, man, I really appreciate what these guys are doing, or I want to see how they did it. Anything like that?
Oh man, off the top of my head, let me. Just some other like fellow builders that I really dig, like Palmetto Pedals. Somebody that we've kind of been in the same space together in terms of like in the Reddit world, and then into this kind of with each other on Instagram, kind of in that same space. Mm-hmm. Just a really cool, like, builder. Let me think. Oh, you know what? This is not a pedal builder that is that great, but this is an amazing builder that inspired me. Is Louis Golden from Fried Egg Audio. If you look up, he makes these guitar cabinets that are covered in like really pretty, just like different patterns and very colorful. It's the same thing as like if you admire the kind of details that are like in the Bambi pedal, then he does all of that. He even makes the insides of them like really pretty. It's like I would want to live in it, honestly. It's like this really pretty like velvet living room or something. Makes it really easy to swap out speakers, and he just thinks about all those little sort of details.
That's cool. I like the ability to swap out speakers easily. It's frustrating when you can't.
He has the back panel on hinges, so you just lift it.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So yeah, I find, and then Orion, if you go to Instagram, Orion Tone Hunt, he makes a lot of really cool pedals that are just wacky, and they also have the same sort of like epoxy resin kind of style, but we're like two different sides of the same coin, I suppose.
What, and that's just Orion pedals?
Orion Tone Hunt.
Tone Hunt. Okay, that's what I was like. Interesting. Okay, cool.
So I know we have, of course, the Bambi here. I noticed that you also have maybe a scaled down version called the Baby.
Yeah.
So what's the difference between that and what we're holding?
It's a stripped down version that is just the fuzz.
Okay.
It removes the tone knob, and it removes the high-low switch. It kind of locks you into that high position. And then you just have that BAM and B switch. And I can explain what the Bambi is really quickly. That's like the one addition to the original circuit. It's not, it doesn't change the original circuit. It's like an added feature, which just allows the top end on the third gain stage to bypass it. And therefore it's not like, all ramped up treble. So it kind of like tames the treble and the buzz and fuzz on the top end.
Well, and on that note, let's talk about the controls that are on here, just so that people understand there's a lot to be had here. Your main knobs are volume, tone, and sustain, sort of a typical fuzz scenario. And then you also have what is the high and low. And would you classify that as a high pass, low pass, or would you call that more of a high tone and low tone?
It's more like it's more like the high is like the scooped. There's some more treble, less
it turns into like teeny tiny transistor radio, like in the most awesome way. Like for a specific effect, like if you wanted to punch into that, it'd be really, really sick. And then the BAM or the B. That's maybe the one that if you're like, okay, I get all this. What does BAM and what does B do?
Okay, so BAM it kind of tilts it a little bit more towards like distortion, since it clips off some of the top harmonics of the treble. So it just makes it a little bit less fuzzy. I don't know. I use it more in like a distortion sense. It's kind of hard to describe other than just less top harmonics and less sizzle, less buzz.
Yeah, if you have it in B mode and in high mode, that's where it's like super sizzly transistor. If you drop it into low and BAM, it almost sounds like a big muff with the tone rolled way back and less sustain. That was my initial take on it.
Yeah, totally. That's how I feel too.
Then you have the ability to choose between the fuzz side of this or the boost. Now the boost, do you know how much dB you have on this boost?
I don't, but it's like I kept the original specs, which is like crazy. It's a pretty loud boost.
Yeah.
But I didn't alter to do like unity gain or anything like that, just because I wanted to keep the original circuit as it was. Just to know for sure, like this is the sound. So yeah, it's pretty loud. It definitely has some space to move with the knob.
Now, John, you'd crack this open. I've already taken a look at it, but I knew you were interested in some of the innards. Why don't you ask him about that?
Yeah. So one of the things that Tony and I noticed, which first of all, so there are 2 dip switches in there, and one of them is pretty prominently labeled as not doing anything, which I thought was just hilarious. So top work there. Can you talk maybe a little bit about what the one functional dip switch does to the fuzz?
Yeah, it's really subtle, so that's why I put it inside. If I were to put it on top of the pedal, I feel like people would be like, what is it doing? Like, it doesn't really do much. But it's a smaller capacitor for the start of the signal, so it allows less of the bass to go through.
Okay.
So it's a high pass filter.
So maybe it's something that you'd adjust, to a specific rig or a specific guitar, and then just kind of leave it alone.
Yeah, totally. Like set it and forget it. Like if it's a little muddy or something with your rig, then that's where you would switch it down.
Mm-hmm. There's also a variable LED, which is super duper cool, I think.
Yeah.
I have a question, if you don't mind me asking.
Oh shoot, Jared's
Please,
there.
Jared.
Jared?
Hello.
Yeah, I've been with you the whole time.
We know.
And during that whole time I was with you, I came up with a question, and I'm going to ask it right now.
Mr. Preface.
Yes.
So, yes, it of course is the big buildup for just a simple question, which is the question I'm about to ask.
Mm-hmm.
How did you come up with the name Sex Cult Friends? Because I mean, it's a really cool name, right? How did you come up with it?
Okay, so there was I think it was a Vice news story about, oh God, what is that? The actress who was
I love Vice News, by the way. That's, oh my gosh, what a great channel that is.
It was Allison Mack, the actress who was in a sex cult. And it said, I don't remember the exact headline, but it was a very Vice-ish headline. I think it said, Judge forbids Allison Mack from seeing her sex cult friends.
Wow.
And I just thought it was the funniest. Like the 3 words together were just so perfect.
Sex Cult Friends.
We're just friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sex Cult Friends.
I had a question concerning the 2 sides of the pedal. You've got the fuzz side and the boost side.
Yeah.
Is it possible, or would it be possible, if you added another switch, that you could have the boost as well as the fuzz at the same time, or do they share componentry that you wouldn't be able to do that?
It actually just siphons off like for the boost. I mean, it siphons off the signal from the first transistor. There's a 3 transistor gain stage. So it's actually just part of the same circuit. So, I mean, that's something to think about.
Yeah, I just thought, if you're in a fuzz kind of setting and you're using that, and then you needed to bump it up a couple dB, you could, hit the other if there were a second button that you could push, and that would, for a lead or something like that. I like both sides of it, but I thought maybe in combination there might be some way to even make it take it a step further.
Choose which one you want on the fly.
You could also buy 2 of them, Tony.
Well,
and that would solve that problem.
There you go.
And it would probably make Phil pretty happy too.
Yeah. I do offer though, like if you wanted, one of the other switches on like a foot switch, it's again in that like build a Bambi section of the website. So if you wanted, to switch between boost and fuzz with another foot switch on there, then I can do that. I would just hand wire it.
I think you're going to get a lot of those after this episode.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So let's see here. Let me ask you, after starting to build all these, I mean, we have number 61. I know that you had, you were starting to tell me a little bit of story. You're only at 61. Is there anything that prohibited, further building of these?
Oh, I'm actually you got 31.
31.
Yeah.
Did I say 61? I meant 31.
Yeah. So still just a fresh build. So there was like a period of kind of mental illness, I guess you would call it. But just like kind of a lull in the middle between when I tried to kind of start the brand or company or whatever in 2018, and then it was kind of like at its lowest point in 2020 and last year, and then I've been heavy into it again starting this year. So this is kind of my like really going for it now kind of year as opposed to the previous ones.
And was that if you don't mind me asking, was that due in part at all to like, hey, I'm going to do this thing, and I don't know if you got a slow start or if you got a fast start and it tapered off. Did any of that have anything to do with it?
Oh no, it was mostly just like personal life stuff, but I think it had to do with like hitting my 30s, middle 30s, and I think a lot of people kind of find out, a lot of stuff. I actually found out that I was like on the autism spectrum, which was crazy to find out when you're 35, but that sort of readjusted my whole approach on building, because before I was trying to do a very uniform kind of thing, like you were saying earlier, where, some people will put out a bunch of pedals that are, very uniform, and mine tend to be a little bit more unique from one to the next. They're, I guess you could say messy or sloppy or anything if you want, but kind of intentionally so.
Yeah.
But like with the diagnosis and kind of reassessing the way I kind of did everything, that's when I went full on crazy with the PCB design, how orderly it is, how nice it is to assemble.
Sure.
That was all a reaction to the diagnosis and kind of like working around it for the best part. So
this was the first time you got, sorry, I'm not trying to turn this into the mental health podcast or anything, but I know that a lot of us either are or know somebody very close to us that, is either dealing with some sort of, mental issues right now and or are on the scale in some way. And that would be, I'm sure that would be an arresting thing to determine or be told like that late in life. That probably answered an awful lot of questions for you.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it answered pretty much everything because I was previously diagnosed like ADHD, but it kind of didn't explain everything. It was kind of an epiphany, but it wasn't like, oh, that explains why I'm such a weirdo.
You and me both, brother.
Yeah. So it was like, oh, this explains I wasn't just a really crappy adult. I'm just bizarre. And I'm just wired different. So
yeah.
It was actually a good thing to learn after, accepting it.
Yeah. I bet that provided a bit of freedom for you in a certain way.
Yeah, there's an absolute difference between the before stuff. Like if you look at my my Instagram, you'll see my earliest pedal was the True Love Fuzz, which was a germanium fuzz face, and I would kind of go nuts trying to build them because I wanted them to be so meticulously perfect. I wanted them to like. I did the screen printing and all of that, but it becomes too much to try to do it like that, to try to mimic what a robot can do.
Yeah.
And I started to like accept that like it's kind of good to have little mistakes and stuff. Kind of personalizes them.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
And we all know that robots don't want to make pedals. They just want to eat old people's medicine.
Yeah. True.
So, anyhow, well, man, I think I really do appreciate you sharing that aspect of things. And, there's a lot of it out there. And I'm sure you probably have given at least somebody a glimmer of hope or understanding and or maybe inspired their own thinking.
Thanks.
I know something else that's going to happen. I think that this pedal is going to inspire. I don't know what inspiring is. It's going to inspire a lot of awesome music. I know that for sure. So thank you so much for creating this and for sharing it with the rest of us and making it something that is really unique out there in the pedal world.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Gentlemen, we're going to jump in the old El Camino.
That's right.
About now. Go, Jared.
Well, you guys are going to hop in the old El Camino and ride in the back, and no one's going to drive it. And you're going to come down to Nashville and meet me for
wait. No one's going to drive it? Do we have a new robot that drives us now?
It will drive itself, trust me.
Wow. A self-driving El Camino.
That's right, because the El Camino's excited about our little game of Would You Rather? Would you rather? This Would You Rather is from good old Bruce Bacon. And he sent us some really good Would You Rathers.
I think that he has sent us more Would You Rathers. He gets
and anybody else
Would You Rather
in the history
award.
of Would You Rather. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks, Bruce.
He's got a knack for coming up with these things.
And his name makes me hungry every time.
Yes.
I know because
Yeah.
I knew a chef named Bruce once. I'm the same way.
It's more the bacon part, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Switch on. Anyways, read the thing.
So you take a road trip to see an old friend out in the countryside. When you arrive, he surprises you by asking if you can fill in for their second guitarist at his classic rock band practice. You have to use one of your friend's other two guitars. Guitar A, it sounds amazing through whatever gear you plug into, but the back of the neck is sticky and gooey like Todd's Gibson. So playing it is a constant battle. Guitar B is a parts caster that plays super smooth, but only a single coil bridge pickup that works, and the only pedal your friend has to fatten the sound is a Proco Rat 2. Did I say that right?
Yes, you did.
And to be more specific about that parts caster with the only one single coil, it's barely 6K. So it's like an old 50s, 60s, really tinny, not full, great for rhythm type of deal. So it's good luck with that.
Okay. Well.
So which one are you going to do for the thing?
All right, Tony.
Well,
You can add any clarity to that if you want.
I'm not going to add clarity. I think it's pretty clear.
Okay.
I'm still
Yeah.
I know you like to add clarity.
thinking about the self-driving El Camino.
Right.
But I've owned a lot of guitars that have had that yucky neck sticky problem. We talked about there was an era of Gibson guitars where that lacquer, I don't know if it ever fully hardened or whatever.
All right.
Well, I'm not picking on Gibson. They know about it, but I'm just saying. But I've had other guitars that have had similar situations. Earlier we were talking about sanding the finish off the back of a Rickenbacker. Same kind of thing. I would say I would have to suffer through the sticky neck in order to be able to get the sounds and everything. As you said, it sounds great through everything. That would be probably the guitar. I don't know if you could just scrub the
Play
neck
a Jeff
with-
Healey style?
Nah, I don't think I couldn't do it that way. But I don't know. I think I would just have to, just like I said, suffer through, or maybe add some additional lubrication to my hand.
Okay. Interesting.
Or powder?
Yeah. A little WD-40 on your hand. That'll work.
That'll work. Probably take the finish
Yeah.
off. So that's what I'm going with.
Okay.
That's
Yeah.
John,
sounds good.
what are you doing?
Parts caster with the rat. I will not be elaborating.
That's fair. That's fair. Phil, how about yourself?
It would be a pleasure to use the parts caster with the rat.
Okay. That's 2 for the parts caster with the rat. And Jared?
Absolutely the one that sounds good with the crappy gooey neck. I'll just put fast fret on the back of the neck.
You could wear a glove.
Yeah,
I don't
that'll
think
be
that was
even worse.
included. Yes,
I'll
you
have
could
to
wear
put fast
an
fret.
oven mitt. Yeah.
Fast fret. Well, then how are you going to play? You got to
Exactly.
use fast fret or baby powder. It's got to be super wet or it's got to be super powdery.
Use both of them.
No, you don't want to use both of them.
You
Bad
make a
idea. Bad idea.
Yeah.
Todd, you?
I'm
do
totally gonna go with the parts caster and the Proco. Are you kidding me? That's like
That's
gotta
half your
tell you.
guitars anyway.
I mean, I'll be right at home, except for the single.
Let me tell you
single coil
something.
nonsense.
I went, and I'll tell you why I went with what I went, and I'd suffer. When I was with my first band I ever had, a young kid, my 74 Gibson SG was crushed right before I went up to play. I wasn't smart enough to keep it in the case. So it got crushed. Something fell on it. And I borrowed somebody's Jazzmaster. And it had weak single coil pickup in the bridge, and it ruined the sound of the band. It totally ruined it. There was nothing
what exactly
I could do.
crushed the guitar? Like a piece of Skylab?
There
or
was a
something?
huge light box.
Oh,
A big light box came. It
That'll
vibrated
do it.
off the speakers,
That'll do
and
it.
it just landed on the guitar, and it crushed the. Yep, it was very heartbreaking.
I'll bet.
And I used a single coil guitar, and we stopped in the middle of the set and said, "We're really sorry, it's not working out."
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because he's
back.
saying it's a single coil bridge, but none of us were probably thinking like a Telecaster bridge. The Telecaster bridge sounds great, but a Strat bridge, anyways.
It was bad. It was just
Especially if it's a low
never
one,
again.
it's,
Never again.
But that's where the
Give me the
that's
one
where
on
rat comes
fire
into
with a
play.
humbucker in the bridge, and I'll use it.
That rat makes everything sound terrible.
Yeah.
It just covers it up.
I can be like, it ain't me, it's this stuff I'm using.
I don't know. Maybe it needs a new battery.
I'm really a good soloist. Well, that was really fun. Thanks, Brucey, for sending that one in. Very clever. Very clever. Tony, we got a handful of people to thank, and then we're going to bid our friend Phil adieu.
It sounds good. Well, this is certainly more than a handful of people to thank, because this is the part of the show where we say a special thank you to our executive producers. Now, our executive producers make the show possible. And how do you become one? Go over to patreon.com/the Guitar Knobs. Check out a couple different levels that you can participate. Become a sponsor, a patron of this very podcast.
Ooh la la.
Each level comes with some fantastic thank you gifts. And but there's one thing more. And what is that, Jared?
Get to have your name read on the thing.
That's right. As an executive producer, you get your name read on the thing. The
Can we
thing
do
being
that?
this podcast.
Could we do that right now?
I think we're going to do it.
Do it.
Tony, go ahead. Alrighty. So special thanks to these executive producers. Moon Guitars, Vader and Pedals, John Halverson, Rick Calhoun, Trevor Gunberg, Elad Mizrahi, Mike D, Richard Kendall, Mark Garton, Matt Hart, James White, Justin Jones, Anthony Jamalero, Bill Gola Guitars, John Esterly.
Hey,
I know him. He's sitting right next to me. Anthony Lathrop, Stefan Lamb, Michael Senchuk, Ken Sayers, Doug Christ, Darren Gregory, Tom Brazen, Rusty Sneeden, Ralph Gottschalk, Don Kloss, Rich Gregory Randall, Brett Hogarth, Eric Hemmer, Stuart George, and Michael Furman.
that is correct. The Mundo.
But wait, Todd, there's another group of executive producers.
Oh, yes. Tell me all about it.
We have to thank. These are our grand poobahs.
That's right. I remember this group. I was forced to take the stairs up to the penthouse because they were all crammed into one giant elevator. And
Well,
I
there
couldn't
is
get in.
only the one elevator that
Yes.
works now. We have to get that. That's
Yeah.
John, do you know anything about elevators?
Not at all. Other than Otis is basically the Cadillac of elevators.
Yes.
Otis.
Yes.
All right. Otis is the Cadillac.
Keep going.
So special thanks to these grand poobahs: Tommy Manasco, Ricardo Igareda, David Kaminga, Brandon Wound Pickups, Hex Matos, Michio Murakishi, Bob Crouch, Jack Cadian, Sam Jett, Tyler Rhines, LSJ Music Company, John Williams, James Pennington, Adam Johnson, Steve Keys, Cody Foster, Science of Sound, Brian Robinson, Jonathan Jurusik, Corey Nigro, Michael Van Zant, Tim Nowak, Jonathan Daly, Martin Cliff, Sean S. Eddie Serratos, and David Poe.
That is correct. Now, I need to mention two things here real quick. Three things here real quick. Number one. For all of the Grand Poobahs, the jacuzzi is closed down for a little bit because Jared snuck up there last night, and he thought that the giant barrel of cheese balls was actually bath salts. So we have to get that fixed. It'll be up and running again soon. I also wanted to point out that Tim Nowak has been like releasing pedals like crazy. This is awesome. And I just wanted to throw that out. I was like, Bardic audio devices, check that stuff out, man. All kinds of crazy stuff coming out of that guy.
Good job, Tim.
What about number 3?
Number 3 is all these people that we just mentioned. They are the ones who, like, if you go to an Instagram, we're like, hey, we're giving this stuff away. That's who gets this stuff. So you got this clone of a clone. We're going to be giving that away. We just gave away 2 other pedals. We've got lots of great stuff that we're cooking up for our patrons moving, into the winter months. So things to be had, things to be gotten, things to get.
Oh, Todd, number 4.
Yes.
Don't eat the orange acid.
Don't eat the orange acid. Yes. Or drink the orange water. Phil Robles.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being on our show. Thanks so much for being, Phil.
You're welcome. Thank you.
But thank you for coming on the show and sharing your time with us.
Sure. Thanks.
And for making this super awesome Bambi pedal. Where can people go find this thing?
Oh, just go to your browser bar and make people think you're looking up something wrong. Go to sexualfriends.com.
Yes, use the privacy one.
Yeah.
Go incognito.
Incognito. No, you don't have to do that, everybody. You don't have to do that.
It's work safe. Or just find me on Instagram.
Correctamundo. And you got some. Are you kind of rolling with this pedal right now? Or you got some new things in the works, or what are you doing?
I got that, and I got the Bambi, and I've got a few more in the works. They're in the prototyping stage right now. Some things like a wah fuzz kind of thing, like a cocked wah.
Cool.
And then I've got another one that's supposed to be a kind of like frigid, icy distortion-y fuzz distortion, kind of based around a 250 and an Ampeg Scrambler mix. A very weird, icy kind of sound. Then what else am I doing? I'm also trying to recreate that old synth drum that like Joy Division used to use.
Yeah, the one that they made.
Yeah, so that's been on the back burner.
Wow.
That's Snare 3 or Snare 4. I can't even remember. It's been that long since I opened the file. But yeah, I have a few things that are just like on the back burner that are coming. But right now, the Bambi and the Baby.
Sounds good. We'll get these while he's focused on them, everybody. But also be sure that you check out and keep paying attention to what he's up to. And please let us know as well, Phil. Okay, so we can help that out. Let's see, Tony. Where can people find you?
Best place, go over to pickguardian.com. Check out some of the things that I have available for sale. But mostly what I do is custom work. So shoot me an email and let me know what you need and what you're trying to do. And I will help you out. If
you want to see something spectacular that he just made, check out our Instagram or the Valentino's Instagram.
That's right.
I posted that up, the V, what we did with the V, and the thing Oh, it looks awesome.
That's pretty sweet.
Yes,
It's
it.
pretty
That is-
sweet.
That's about as custom of a guard as you.
That's a pretty custom one.
Yeah. John, where can people find you?
So best place to find me is on Instagram at Rare Buzzer. That's Rare Buzz with an ER at the end. Website's the same. 1970 series is being dropped as we speak. So if you like affordable, cool pedals, check them out.
Brilliant. That's it. That can't go wrong with affordable and cool. Jared, where can people find you?
Okay, Porky, I would like anyone that would like to drop me a line to find me on Instagram, jared.allen.brandon, and you'll see that I support the Valentinos band, the Valentino.
Oh, very cool. Very nice of you. Let's see.
No,
here.
seriously. No, drop me a line about anything, and yes, of course I do support the Valentino.
Oh, thanks. You can send me an email, Todd at theguitarknobs.com. You can also DM me on Instagram at guitarknobs. We would love to hear from you. Send us your would you rathers, your hopes, your dreams, whatever else you got on your mind. We'd be happy to discuss and or share it with the rest of the folks. And also, please go check out my band, The Valentinos, on Instagram and out there on Spotify and everything. We got all the stuffs out there. Big giant thanks one more time to Phil, our new friend out in the LA area, creator of the Bambi pedal. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Hey everybody, have a fantastic guitar week and subscribe.
Cult friends.
Okay.
Oh, Sandy, baby.
I like that. It sounds like it sounds like innocent, and then it gets angry at the end.
But you know what happens when you assume?
ran across my yard. I can't join. Desperado. I was trying to sweep and the broom was too full of lint and it wouldn't work. Oh my gosh, that's Tony's so loud.
Hey, so loud.
You got him? Did you get them all out?
Todd's losing his hair over here.
Jared, you're still super spiky,
Test,
bro.
1 2. Test 1 2 3. Speaking voice.
I have to re-dry my sheets because they were wadded up in the dryer.
I had cinnamon toast crunch, and I drank the milk with all the sugar in it.
Hey,
Don't be so enthusiastic, or come across this microphone and strangle you.
So we have a lot of voices in the room. Let's just make sure
Not as many are in my head.
And Tony's extra loud.
Happens. To
Yeah,
everybody.
totally. That's. I can't
So-
join the show because I broke my thumb and now I can only count to 4.
All right, let's do it.
Hey, everybody, it's me, Todd Novak.
And away we go.
Why wouldn't I be able to join if a skunk ran across my yard?
Well, that's it for these knobs. Please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/theguitarknobs. Visit our website at theguitarknobs.com for all of our past episodes, 4 on the Floor blog, and other good stuff. You can connect with us on social too at our Facebook page and share your gear and stories on our Facebook group. Also, be sure to check out our Instagram at Guitar Knobs. Catch you next time.